G'day guys, November the 3rd, 2025. We're in the middle of this high energy period, 29th of the 10th to the 5th of the 11th. This is the first wetter phase of the spring cycle following that transition from late October. And we see this latest rain bands now really starting to thicken up through the central interior. It falls up towards 50 plus mils through the northwest of Queensland. We're seeing severe storms right along the east coast, the Wide Bay, Capricornia, southeast Queensland, northeast New South Wales. Damaging to destructive winds, giant hail up to 8 centimetres from reports online, locally heavy rainfall. So we can expect this trend to continue as this inland feature begins to mature over the next 24 to 48 hours. It should move out to the east coast by the 5th and move offshore. So we'll see a progression of severe storms from southeast and South Australia, central interior, through much of interior Queensland. Be more scattered through northwest New South Wales just due to the current state of the climate in that region due to that drought progression we've been talking about, and severe storms moving right across into eastern Victoria, eastern New South Wales. There'll be some focus of heavier falls through the elevated regions of Victoria and along the ranges of New South Wales up into southeast Queensland and the Capricornia and the coalfields. So just prepare if you're in these regions for the next 2 to 3 days. Highly erratic weather is likely. Thunderstorm tracks will be variable, but if you're underneath severe cells, they will be intense. If we go to the water vapour, this is the start of that feature moving through South Australia at the moment. So this is on Saturday. Severe storms over the weekend through the southeast and in the Northern Territory and the Kimberley. So in the latest frames moving into this morning, we'll see those storms sticking up through southeast and South Australia, western Victoria. That's courtesy of this upper trough shearing moisture in from the Indian Ocean. This area you need to watch into late November because this will be the funnel for the major feature 19th or 24th of November. So we'll see the same pattern repeat, but of higher intensity, higher magnitude. Storms will be much more severe. Also, this area is priming for that early December tropical system that I've been talking about. You'll see from past updates, and if you check out the long range forecast, we should see our first tropical low form around the 8th of December, pretty much near Christmas Island where this moisture anomaly is. And whether that low moves on shore as a system or a sheared trough, that's likely to occur around the 16th, 17th of December, around that southern Pilbara. So again, I'm not saying it's a cyclone, but I'm just saying there's enhanced potential for a tropical feature to directly affect the landmass moving into the western interior. Another key signal for that is there's a frontal system building off the Western Australian coast, which would move on shore from around the 4th tomorrow, Tuesday, for the Western Australian coast. And those fronts moving through and the upper troughs moving through Western Australia into December will be what captures any tropical anomaly to the northwest. Rainfall over the next 2 to 3 days will primarily be focused across the greater east, including southeast and South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales, Tasmania, Queensland, the northern interior, including the top end and the Kimberley, and to a secondary extent, the west from the Gascoyne to the eastern interior, the greater south of Western Australia into far western and southern parts of South Australia once again when the secondary front moves onshore. So again, the key window for this peaks on the 5th. So we'll see this system in the east continue and move offshore by the 5th, which it does. And as that occurs, as that system moves offshore, the western system moves completely onshore by the 5th, with the core of that low moving onshore mid-morning. So in the east, expect more of the same. Widespread severe storms extending anywhere from the top end through the northern interior, right through Queensland interior, New South Wales interior, and across Victoria. The heaviest falls Victoria will be mostly through the eastern parts, the highlands. New South Wales mostly along the tablelands, south and the slopes and plains east of the coast. And then Queensland, that traditional corridor, southeast Queensland, Wide Bay, Capricornia, and right through the Queensland interior pretty much into the west. So anywhere east of the ranges, or the ranges inclusive of the ranges east, prepare for giant hail risk up to 5 to 8 centimetres is likely. That's what we've been seeing already. That extends down into northeast New South Wales. There is a high probability of hail developing again through eastern Victoria and southeast New South Wales again as this upper trough extends and wraps around these surface lows. So we've got a series of lows that should be in train underneath this upper trough, and we should see a bit of a cut-off low briefly with those storms intensify, and that should help pull some storms back up into southeast and South Australia. So again, once that system moves offshore, we see the western system move in at the peak of that energy period. Initially, it'll start off with some patchy storms moving in through the Gascoyne into the wheat belt, but we've got this humid air mass to the northwest. It's colliding with this cooler air mass coming in from the southern Indian Ocean and the Southern Ocean. So there's a high risk of hail through here as well where these two air masses collide, and some very gusty, destructive winds within these storms. So the storms won't be as widespread as the greater east, but they should pack a similar intensity, a similar energy system and similar atmospheric dynamics, just on a smaller scale. And those storms, once they move into the interior, once we cross over into the 6th, we'll see that low moves offshore again, and those storms break down quite quickly as energy is turned off. And that's the key to this weather model that I've developed. These systems turn on and off on a dime, considering the size of these weather patterns, and generally start and finish within these date ranges that we forecast. So in saying that, maybe in the mid-month, we'll see easterlies build across the interior, very hot in the west. There's variable rainfall forecasts moving through the middle of the month. I wouldn't pay too much attention to them. They'll just be generally scattered storms focused across the greater northwest. And then the major feature builds again from around the 19th. And that's when we should see this northwest tropical anomaly start to really funnel that moisture right into the northwest. And we see the next major system building through the central interior, South Australia. We've got that rainfall corridor we're expecting through eastern South Australia, western Victoria, western New South Wales. And then that'll extend right through the coast by the 24th, and that will produce another significant weather period of giant hail, destructive winds, heavy rainfall, and all the other nasties that come with this time of year. So pay attention to warnings released by the BOM anywhere from today through the end of the month. Following that, we should see the development of that tropical low to the northwest, which I'll show a quick video on that. This is the CFS, so this is just the weekly moisture anomalies. They're not rainfall indicators, they're just showing that where there's potential for be above average rainfall for this time of year in a certain location. So, yep, just don't focus too much on this. So the point of this is this lump out here. If we go to the December forecast, this has been out since June. We're looking at tropical low can form around the 8th of December in this area here. It's pretty much directly north of Exmouth, and we're looking at a landfall of some sort, whether it's a low pressure system or just a sheared cloud band, a remnant trough of tropical origin, be around the 12th to 17th, probably around the 16th that we'll see something. Then that'll progress into a rain band into the western interior, focus from the Kimberley to the Pilbara, and later on that funnels down into the southwest, and there's also a broad storm event that builds in the east into the second half of December. So that's the basis of what I'm talking about here. So we've got this moisture plume that's starting to build in the first week of November. And when you watch with interest, it moves to the east. So moving into the early part of the later parts of November, we see that system is really starting to deepen in potential there. And there's a tongue of moisture starting to move into the west. So what this means to me is from that 19th till 24th, we should see this system directly influencing that major feature that extends right across the eastern states through the central interior, that major feature from the 19th till the 24th. What's left of that sticks around into the first week of December. So this is where we're looking at that tropical low, and there's that tongue of moisture coming down to the southern Pilbara, where we're looking at that focus hotspot for enhanced activity. Again, I'm not saying it's a cyclone, but this is a tropical origin event that will form in this region and to some extent affect the Pilbara coast and the greater northwest Kimberley. And that continues into mid-December, where that tongue of moisture comes down into that region. And if we look at this map that I did from June, this is pretty much what that map indicates from the latest CFS run. So just something to watch. If you're in this area from the Pilbara to the Kimberley, this is when this next feature will form. There's already some runs in the model showing a low pressure system out here in the GFS as early as this next week. Although the GFS is really good at picking up trends a few weeks to a month before they happen. And this is why people say the GFS is so bad. It's actually really good because it usually is the first one to find these features. Only with my system will you know when they're going to form though. So you need to become a member, join the website, get an annual membership, and you'll know exactly which model run suits the computer model run due to my long range system, which focuses on where and when events will happen to a specific date and location. Anyway, jump on the website. If you want a discount, hit me up. Cheers.